then I will share my screen in a moment. Excellent. All right. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's session, Top Tips for AI Use. And a big thank you to Minyo Nell, who created this slide presentation for us. If you don't know who we are already, we are the Postgrad Information Specialist team. And if you ever pop an assist query on my Emerus, then one of us will most likely answer that query. And tonight we're going to cover a couple of things, starting with defining AI and going on to values, as well as the types of academic misconduct, and then most importantly, how to use AI, as well as a couple of recommended AI tools that you can use. All right, and this is actually a very important slide. I hadn't seen it here before until recently, so thank you, Minyo, for that. There is on the postgraduate support guide, there is a page that shows scholarly digital tools and how to use them. So please check out page 39 of the guide for further information. And then a little, I suppose, definition of each. Now, there is a difference between generative AI and assistive AI. So you will know all the grammar tools, that is assistive AI, and the Gen AI when they create new stuff. That will be the ChatGPT, the Claude, Copilot, Gemini, and the difficulty with Gen AI is that sometimes it will hallucinate a response or it will tell you what you want to hear. So do be careful when you are using those kind of tools. All right, and this is the question we would like to ask you tonight. So please, if you can either scan the QR code or click the link, then we would like to know which AI tools do you use the most frequently? And I'll give you a moment to answer that. All you need to do is enter the participant code 2322863 and then answer the question. Minyo will most likely pop the answers in the chat afterwards. Okay, I hope that is enough time. I can't see the chat, unfortunately, so let's go on and hope that you have got the link to work with. All right, and then onto the values that guide AI use. Now, two very, very important concepts are academic honesty and intellectual integrity. So whenever you are writing anything academic, very, very important that you give credit where it is due. So if you have used AI, we need you to be honest and open about it because those ideas may have come from AI and not your own ideas. So it's always good to make that distinction. Then the 6 values of intellectual integrity, it can be found in the intellectual integrity policy, but more or less the 6 most important things to remember are honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. Okay, and over to you. What do you usually use AI for? You should be able to go on to the next question now and answer that on the Slido app. And I will say I mostly use AI just to play around with the fun cartoons that you can create. It's, you know, the action figure a while back, that was a fun one to do for your career. And then the caricature where you have a giant head and yeah, so that was quite fun to do. I don't really use AI for a lot of things, although I am exploring the good ones for research, which we will share at the end of this presentation.
So just on the previous question, which AI
yes.
do we use? The most common one was ChatGPT and then Gemini.
Perfect. Okay, so those are two of the biggest Gen AI platforms. And yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Minyo. All right, and then the types of academic misconduct. Sad but true, there are students who cheat the system, maybe plagiarize the work, pretend it is their own, or it could be poor referencing. Okay, so please be aware that all of these could land you in hot water should you get them wrong. And then the difference between ethical and unethical usage, how to do it well is on the right-hand side of the page. So if you disclose any AI use, that would be on the AI disclosure form. You just make sure that you are still the one steering the ship, maintain authorship, be the one in control of AI and not the other way around. Verify the source. If you are not sure where that information came from, please double check. Maybe triangulate the data, look for other people who've said the same thing if you're not sure. And then that also involves analyzing and other critical thinking skills. And then this will definitely, the lecturer will pick up on that if you perhaps have copy pasted from AI. Okay, and maybe you've declared AI, but the usage is still a problem. All right, and then if you would like to know how to write up an annexure, these are the main sections that you need to list. And there is also a proper AI declaration form should you prefer to use that form instead. Then you just fill in the relevant sections. But most importantly, you need the link to the live chat. The prompts that you used must all be displayed. If for some reason the link is not working, please screenshot each and every page of that chat. Okay, so it's a lot of work, especially if it's 40 pages of chatting with ChatGPT. So rather make sure that there is a shareable link. That would be a lot easier for everybody. Okay, and a few top tips. Grammar checkers or any other add-ons, they can remove too much of your own work, so please be careful with that. Examples include Grammarly, Quillbot, Copilot, even ChatGPT can be used as a grammar checker, although I don't recommend it because it may change your voice too much. Okay, and then to be safe, rather keep a copy of the original rough work that you did, just so that you have a before and after. So before AI and after AI, just to prove to your lecturer or navigator that you did do the work yourself. And then one last question. Do you know how to use AI ethically and correctly in your academic work? So I guess we're all hoping that you say yes tonight. But if not, this is the perfect opportunity to ask the questions that you're not sure about. And even if you don't want to ask a question now, we are available on Emrys Assist. And, you can always ask us if you're not sure about that. And on that note, Emrys Assist, we now have 4 blocks. There is a referencing and AI support request block. So anything that is bothering you or maybe you want to check, you just click on the student supports tab, scroll down to the R's, find the referencing and AI support request, and then type your query into the box. As easy as that. We do ask, however, that you give us at least 48 hours, maybe 2 working days to get back to you, because it is possible that we may have logged off just before you send the message, and then it rolls over to the next day. So please be mindful of the time. Okay, but we will try and get to it as soon as we can. And then here we go, some recommended AI tools. If you haven't used it before, ChatPDF is excellent in summarizing journal articles. It also only works with the script uploaded. So if you upload, let's say, a journal article from EBSCOhost, you can ask it questions. You can say, does this document contain any information on business strategies? And it will tell you yes or no, and it will even recommend a page number for you to look at, which can be very helpful and save you time when you are doing literature reviews, for example. Perplexity, also quite good when it comes to finding credible sources. I do also recommend Perplexity. There is a pro option, which is obviously better, but the free option, while limited, it still suggests good answers. But also just remember that you need to acknowledge this in the AI declaration form. Okay, so any of these tools that you use must be declared because it is there to assist you, but not to replace your work. And then Gemini Notebook, that used to be called Notebook LM. That one is more for studying and understanding the content as well. R Discovery, as the word discovery suggests, you're trying to find scholarly papers. So it looks on all the open access databases and it tries to suggest something that is relevant to your specific topic. Okay, so please, play around with these, download the apps. R Discovery has a phone app. I mean, it's a cell phone app as well as just on the computer. And I found that I've used it once or twice and then I forgot I had it on my phone, but it is quite helpful. Even EBSCOhost has an app for the phone, so you don't always have to be in front of a computer if you want to find information. Insightful. This is also to do with links to other articles. So maybe you want to see who cited what, who referred to which articles, and if you have a very prominent author, maybe they've written 10 articles on a certain topic, who have they referenced? And maybe then you can find other good articles to quote. And last but not least, Research Rabbit. This is one of my favorites. If you have ever used it before, it's not too difficult to learn and it's perfect for literature reviews. So when you want to type up your research topic, that's a good place to start. You can type that into the keyword search for Research Rabbit and then choose whatever articles pop up, choose the 3 most relevant ones. And then once you've selected those 3, they call them seed articles. Now think of it as planting carrots. You select 3 that will start your search, 3 papers that will start your search, and then it links to a whole network of other papers. And sometimes they have the full article, other times not. But if not, you can then ask us, the information specialists, to help you find the full article. Okay, so lots of options, lots of time to explore the new tools, but in the end, this should save you time rather than, the old school way of going into a library and looking through the pages and pages of journals in the basement. But yeah, the times have changed and now research is at your fingertips. And that's it from us. Please feel free to raise a hand or write a question in the chat. Now is the time for you to ask any questions you may have. Okay, all right. So we don't have any questions, but definitely I like that most of the AI usage is for brainstorming ideas, and understanding topics and concepts is also very important so that you know how to answer the questions in your assignment. Analyzing the data, I've actually done that with Atlas TI. When I had to do my research, then it was a very, very helpful way to find connecting themes and keywords. I think, if you had to do it the way where you printed out all the transcripts and then you had to highlight each of the keywords, that was the long way of doing things. Now it's super easy with Atlas TI to do any kind of qualitative data analysis. Okay, I see we've got someone writing in the chat. I'm going to wait a moment and see if there's a question we need to go through. Okay, all right. Thanks for all the tips on the different AI variations one can use. Awesome. Thank you so much, Uniska. Lovely to have you on the call tonight. And Rain, I hope we hear more from you. Thank you so much for joining as well. If there are no other questions, then I will end the recording. But yeah, as we've said, we are here for you and we